Hey babe, I'm AI Raven.
And I'm AI Breeze. And
And
together
together
we're
we're
R&B.
R&B.
Disclaimer, we talk about God on this channel. We talk about celebrities. We
We
do. It's
do.
just a
It's just
good
a good
balance of
balance of
being
being
real
real.
and applying what we talk about on this channel to your everyday lives. So don't come for us in the comments, but that's just the rhythm
Of
of R&B.
R&B.
Hey guys, and what is up? Welcome back to the R&B podcast. I am Raven, and y'all, this is another solo episode. My hubby Breeze is the B in the R&B, and together we make up the R&B podcast. Now listen, y'all, it is Women's Month. Honey, it's the end of Women's Month. It's almost over with, but I am incredibly grateful that God chose this topic for me to end the month of March with, which is about Michelle Obama. So love, on the podcast today, we're going to be talking about another tough subject where Michelle Obama is a prime example of what it means to choose myself in this season when it comes to her not making public appearances with her husband, Barack Obama, because this has been an ongoing issue since they left the White House, right, where people have noticed that they rarely make public appearances together. But at the end of the day, she came from the political world, right, and she still takes time to work in the political industry, so she's going to do her job. But sometimes, and I do mean sometimes, y'all, you got to do some things for yourself in your God-given authority. However, let me say this. What ultimately transpired was that many individuals believe Michelle Obama would only be recognized as the first black wife to take position alongside her husband, former President Barack Obama, leading them to assume that was all she could contribute. So now you see people doing everything they can and calling her every name but a child of God by using racial language. You see people attacking her in her comments and doing everything they can to tear her down because they perceived her as one thing, and now that she's stepping out of that box to do another thing, they can't receive her. Ain't that something? Michelle's stance that I'm choosing myself during this season serves as a practical illustration of when someone makes a conscious decision to prioritize their own well-being. And Michelle is not just prioritizing herself, right, but she's also making a conscious effort to bring others along with her, especially as she does her new podcast with her brother called IMO in her new profound time space. The Bible talks about Jesus with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, where no matter what Jesus did in their eyes, honey, they always had a problem with it, and he could never do anything right. And when it comes to Michelle Obama's story of her stepping out of this box, this reminds me of just that. It's like some people have placed her in the same predicament, and sometimes when life gets like that, you just got to do what your God-given authority is. And so I understand being who she is, like it comes with the territory of people putting false narratives out there. Like I saw where people were saying the Obamas are getting a divorce, there's trouble in paradise, and that people are alleging Michelle is going against the new person in office. But honey, that's all lies. Now, Jesus told his followers, if the world hates you, keep in mind that they hated me first. That's in John 15:18. Michelle Obama is facing the same kind of rejection, not because she is doing anything wrong, but because she is stepping into her purpose. Just as the religious leaders couldn't accept Jesus breaking free from their expectations, critics can accept Michelle choosing to live beyond her former role. And so the complaint in this video and in this podcast is that Barack and Michelle are not making public appearances together like they once were. And people are assuming that there is trouble in paradise. So because of that, now that Michelle is stepping out of the box as a formal first lady, people are not supporting her on that because, for one, she ain't showing up alongside with her husband, and two, because she's not conforming to people's expectations. If she was doing exactly what y'all wanted her to do, honey, she would have tremendous support from all races, I'm just saying, and all genders. But because she is doing the opposite, people just rather dismiss her altogether. And so before I wrap up this video, because just like Jesus, Michelle's critics, especially those like in the political and media spaces, They dislike seeing her thrive outside of her husband's legacy. They prefer her to remain in a controlled position, one that doesn't challenge society norms, or one that already has their minds made up about the expectations for a former first lady. When Michelle embraces her identity of who she is in this day and age, beyond being Barack Obama's wife, people attack her, just as the Sadducees trapped Jesus with trick questions. That's in Matthew 22, verses 23 through 33. The Pharisees and Sadducees were often hypocrites. Honey, they were your haters, and they claimed to uphold righteous, but were more concerned with control. Michelle's critics claim to support women's empowerment, yet they attack her for stepping into her own success. They claim to respect strong black women, yet they try to put her back in a box. Her journey reflects Galatians 1:10, and it said, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? Listen, if I was trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Michelle Obama's story, like Jesus' mission, reminds us that when people try to confine you to their expectations, you must stay true to yourself. You got to stay true to the calling upon your life, even if it means upsetting the hypocrites, upsetting the haters, upsetting the people in your circle, upsetting the Pharisees and Sadducees, and the list goes on and on. So y'all, this concludes solo episode number 8. Listen, this episode truly blessed me. Y'all just don't understand the season that I am in my life, honey. Woo! It's a lot, but I'm going to continue to persevere, honey, because I know my God-given authority. I am tapped in and well aware of what's going on around me. And that's how we got to live in this day and age, honey, because it's not going to be easy, because the enemy does not want this journey that we call life, this walk that we call life, to be easy. But you got to keep on keeping on, honey. Even when you can't, you got to keep on keeping on. Even when your head hurt, even when them bugaboos are getting on your nerves, you got to keep on keeping on. Just know it is not what it looks like. There is so much more to the story, but the enemy will try to trip us up, and he'll try to trip us out, because it's the only thing we can see in front of us. But y'all, I am Raven, and I am the R in the R&B, and my hubby Breeze is the B in the R&B, and together we make up the R&B podcast. So before I close this podcast, I do have a question. You know, if this was Barack, would we support him or keep him in a box as a president? But we really appreciate you all for watching and listening to the podcast today. We definitely see the numbers, and we thank you guys for hitting subscribe and hitting that thumbs up button. Listen, just doing those things alone, honey, we appreciate the love and support. We can see it. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification so that you can receive your notifications. We do have a few new subscribers, so hey y'all, hey. And we want to make sure that you are getting the notifications when they go out. Also, usually when we upload a video, we usually do it as a premiere. So the video is not live, but YouTube has allowed us to go live in the comments. So if you can, try to log on during that time when we first upload, and it's uploaded as a premiere, so that we can chat and you can get your questions or your comments answered in real time. So again, honey, I am Raven, and in the absence of my hubby Breeze, we make up the R&B podcast. If you have a topic you would like for us to talk about, just email us, honey. The email is in the description, or leave it in the comments. All right, guys, thanks for watching again, and we will talk to you later.